Over the next few minutes, we'll look at how the UAE's new E-Invoicing Framework will change the way invoices are created, exchanged, and reported. This is a major regulatory shift that will reshape business processes across the country, and today we'll focus on what it means for you and how to prepare. At its core, an e-invoice is structured invoice data that can be issued, validated, processed, and exchanged between multiple systems. This allows invoices to move securely and seamlessly between businesses and the government, and helps create a transparent, standardized, and auditable invoicing ecosystem that supports real-time reporting and strengthens tax compliance. Traditionally, invoices were documents designed for people to read, primarily PDFs, Word files, or paper. Under the new framework, invoices become data. They are created in a prescribed format that systems can process automatically, reducing errors and manual intervention across the entire invoicing cycle. It's important to understand what does not qualify as an e-invoice. Unstructured PDFs, scanned images, HTML invoices sent by email, OCR-generated data, and paper invoices are all outside the scope. Only structured, system-readable invoices exchanged through the regulated network will be compliant. The UAE has adopted a decentralized model. Instead of a single government platform, accredited service providers act as the technical interface between businesses and the Peppol network. These providers validate invoice data, manage secure exchange, and handle reporting to the tax authorities. The process begins in the seller's system, where invoice data is generated. The seller's ASP validates and sends it through the Peppol network. The buyer's ASP then receives and validates the invoice before delivering it into the buyer's system. This entire flow happens electronically and securely. In parallel with invoice exchange, the ASP reports the required tax data documents directly to the central government reporting system operated by the Ministry of Finance and the Federal Tax Authority. This happens through a separate reporting channel, enabling real-time or near real-time tax visibility for the authorities. Implementation of the e-invoicing framework will happen in phases, based on revenue thresholds and the type of entity. Businesses with annual revenues of AED 50 million or more must appoint an accredited service provider by the 31st of July 2026 and go live by the 1st of January 2027. Businesses with revenues below AED 50 million have a slightly later deadline, with ASP appointment required by the 31st of March 2027 and implementation by the 1st of July 2027. Government entities are also included with ASP appointment required by the 31st of March 2027 and full implementation by the 1st of October 2027. So, how should you begin implementing the requirements under the UAE's E-Invoicing Framework? Well, there are 3 broad phases. First, start planning early, regardless of your deadline. Second, assess your systems, prepare your data, and appoint an ASP. And finally, ensure implementation is completed on time, based on your regulatory revenue threshold. It is important to note that the compliance obligations are taken seriously. In fact, the E-Invoice framework includes strict penalties. Late implementation attracts a monthly fine. Failed invoice or credit note transmissions are penalized per document. Delays in reporting system failures or data changes can trigger daily penalties. These rules are designed to enforce timely and continuous compliance. This brings us to your action plan. Successful compliance is not just about technology. It requires structured planning, coordination across finance and IT teams, and clear ownership of responsibilities from the start. Begin by understanding how the 5-corner model affects your systems. Select the right accredited service provider. Prepare your data carefully because many mandatory fields are required. Test thoroughly before going live, and finally, establish controls to manage errors, failures, and ongoing reporting obligations. At AKW Consultants, we support you across the entire e-invoicing journey, from initial regulatory impact assessment and detailed data mapping to selecting the right accredited service provider, managing system integrations, and overseeing structured testing and go-live readiness. We work closely with your finance and IT teams to design governance frameworks and operational controls that align with UAE regulatory expectations. In addition, we help establish internal policies, standard operating procedures, and targeted training programs, so your teams are fully prepared to transition into the new process. Supporting your journey into UAE E-Invoicing, AKW Consultants